Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. Thank you all for joining me once again. I got to say this because this has been heavy on my heart. It's been heavy on my heart because no matter how you try to present the situation, no matter how you try to, and not just me, I'm talking about people who deal with this subject, other brothers and other black brothers and other black sisters that deal with this subject. And I'm speaking that language because if that makes people feel comfortable, I'll go ahead and speak it to them. If they feel someone betraying them, I'll go ahead and say black brothers and black sisters. Even though these people are not my brothers and sisters, I'll say that, okay? Even though other black brothers and sisters are addressing this issue, it doesn't seem to be registering with a lot of black people in America. In America, I ain't talking about in Africa. I ain't talking about in India. I'm talking about America, black Americans. It don't seem to be registering. And that is in a roundabout way. And you know what? I'm not going to even say a roundabout way. I'm going to say right up front. Black people in America, collectively, we are still enslaved. We still slaves, brothers. We still slaves, sisters. Now, somebody might get offended with that. How is that? You just a betrayer of the black people. You're betraying your own, and which is crazy because just because someone's skin look like me doesn't mean I have any affiliation with them. We're not family. You're not my biological brother. They're not my biological brother. They're not my biological sister. We're not connected. Okay, I mean, if I was to die right now, that black person or that black woman, that black man wouldn't care a dog's turd whether or not I died or not because they don't even know anything about me. They don't know nothing about me. Okay, we're not connected. So how can I be portraying someone that I'm not connected to because they look like me? They got the same color skin, got the same level of melanin. That doesn't make sense to me. That's illogical. That doesn't make sense. That's not intelligent. It ain't about betraying my kind. Is what I see among my own in America, if you want to call it that, for lack of a better word, okay? Even though we're not connected in that sense. We are still slaves. And what I mean by that is, and I'm not just talking about, the Democratic Party created supported slavery and all that. No, I'm not even talking about that. We're slaves up here. And this is what I mean. It's not the cliche kind of slavery up here. It's a bit deeper. Blacks in America, not all, but a lot of us blacks in America are still chained in our mind because anytime you need a politician, white politician in particular, whether they be Democrat or whether they be Republican, it ain't even a Democrat or Republican thing. Whenever you need them to appraise you or recognize you or separate you or make you distinct from everybody else in America, then you, in my opinion, are still a slave. I'm not happy, and I don't feel fulfilled if some politician don't tell me or recognize me as a distinct black person, that's someone that's special. That to me sounds like something that you would tell a child in their home. That is the mindset of a child. That a person, a black person in America would need a politician, a white politician in particular, to appraise them or recognize them as black people and somebody special and distinct from all the other ethnic groups in this country. I want to really elaborate on this because this came to me after I had done a video several days ago on a subject that's similar to this, but I want to elaborate a little bit more. You can say this is kind of like part 2 of that video about Trump talking about the accusation in the article I read about Trump supposedly trying to erase black history, which was a bunch of nonsense that was not true. But let's just say, for instance, he did. Let's just say, for instance, that was totally accurate and I misread the article and I perceived it the way I wanted to perceive it. Because my argument is the people that disagree with my front, which they have a right to, everybody has their own opinion, you saw it the way you wanted to see it. And my view on that is simply this. I would think that that person is still a slave up here. Because anytime you need the president, a white president, to make that particular month distinct from all the other months, to recognize you as a black person and black distinctiveness, then and you need that, and if they don't give you that, you feel less than, then to me that's mental slavery. That person still got chains locked into their brain. They're walking around free, but up here they're slaves. I think that is really, really hurting us, among other things, in this country. It's a sad, sad situation when we as black people, man, we can't have any kind of inner fortitude about ourselves. That's why I say, and I'll keep saying, that individuality is the key to self-assertion, self-worth, and self-value. You find that within yourself. You find that, in my opinion, based on the things that you have accomplished in life. Now, if a person hasn't accomplished anything in life, then they need to start picking up the sticks, so to speak, and start accomplishing something in life. Build a repertoire or a list of things that you can do, that you can accomplish, no matter how small, and start at the bottom and start working yourself up. That builds confidence in oneself, and it also builds a sense of self-value and self-worth. But if I have to, as a black person, if I'm depending on some white politician or some white teacher or some head of an institution with white people telling me, oh, you're so great, you're the best there is, and they don't tell me that, and they don't give me that recognition, then I'm feeling some kind of way. I see it in TV shows. I see it in awards shows, rather not a TV show, but what are TV shows? Award shows where black actors feel like, even if they don't say it, you can see it, feel like that, hey, I should have gotten that award. I should have gotten it. And I get it. There was Hollywood, which I despise, okay, for several different reasons, but I'm not going to get into it here. Hollywood, in my opinion, was and still is racist to a large extent. I never changed my view on that. I never changed my view on stuff. I think they're still racist. I believe that they still believe that black people are beneath them. Okay? But I believe that based on another level. Well, I won't say, well, yeah, we're on another level. You might as well say it, on another level. I believe that they believe that on another, they ain't just, they white people and they think they're superior to black people. No, it's none of that redneck stuff. Okay, that's redneck stuff. That ain't what I'm talking about. These white people that are over, I would just say it like this. These white people that are at the top of the pyramid on the back of your $1 bill believe they are superior to blacks, whites, Hispanics, and everyone else on this earth. And they believe all of us are slaves, and they are trying to create a global slave system. But that's another story, and I digress, okay? But you see these people, these black people in the award show, and when they don't get the award that they feel that they should get, they got this look on their face. They out protesting, they crying, they boo-hooing because they didn't get this reward. And like I said, yes, Hollywood was and is racist. But why are you allowing yourself to get all messed up, black actor, black actress? Because the racist Hollywood system didn't recognize your talent. That's on them. They lose out on that. I feel like don't let that define you. And they're doing all this protesting and boo-hooing and crying. So what ends up happening, some of the leaders of Hollywood, if you will, some of the heads of Hollywood have taken down to some extent and decide to say, hey, you know what? We're going to go ahead and give this black person a reward and give this person an award and award them for their great acting. And when you actually watch the movie, it's like, really? You get an award for this? It wasn't all that special. One situation that happened, I'm going back a little bit. I'm still dealing with this codependency mindset that a lot of blacks collectively have in America. What was it? The Color Purple? Yeah, The Color Purple. Was it The Color Purple? No, not The Color Purple. What's the name of that movie with Tom Hanks? I forget the name of that movie with Tom Hanks with the guy. Oh God, I forget his name. But it was starring Tom Hanks. I forget his name. Man, how can I forget Forrest Gump? How can I forget that? Anyway, Forrest Gump came out in like the early to mid 90s, and during the award show, I think it was the Oscars or the Oscars. Tom Hanks was pitted up against, it was a couple of other people. I think it was a black person and Tom Hanks and someone else. And Tom Hanks won. Now, I forget what movie that this other black person starred. I think it might have been Whoopi Goldberg or someone else. I don't remember. But it was against a black person. And in that particular role that the black person played in was a very powerful role. And when Tom Hanks won, there was some secretive problems with that because obviously Tom Hanks is white and this person was black and they lost. I think along that line. And there was some secretive, quietly spoken, well, he got it because he was white. But if you watch Forrest Gump, you know in your heart that's more than likely not true. Because Tom Hanks played that part and he deserved the award. The man played it. He played it. I mean, how could you deny it? Now, if the Hollywood heads, if you will, decide to take down and say, okay, we'll give you this award so that you can stop crying, black person, black actor, black actress. You can stop crying and feeling like we denying you the award. We're going to go ahead and give it to you. Isn't that a form of mental slavery? I need you to give me this award, even though I've watched Tom Hanks' performance in this movie, and his performance is very worthy. I don't care. It's a white person getting something over me, and I just don't like that. I think I've been jilted. No, to me, that is mental slavery. The chains are still on that person's mind. It's still locked up. The brain is still locked up. They need that. They need that affirmation. And to me, when you need that kind of external affirmation, then whatever direction, it's almost like I need these white people to affirm me. So I'm going to live my life as a black person, doing things and acting in a certain way to get the affirmation of white people. And if they don't give me that affirmation, then they're being racist against me, and I feel like I'm nobody as a black person. You get what I mean? To me, that's a dangerous ground to live on because now you're not being true to yourself. Now you got to live a certain type of way and do certain things in order to get affirmation from white people. Now, when I say affirmation from white people, I'm not talking about if you are going in for a job interview and you say, well, I don't want to get the affirmation of a white person. I'm going to go in a job interview with dreadlocks and back and saggy pants. I'm not talking about that kind of affirmation. That's a professional position, and anyone with common sense would not go into a job interview looking like a fool. That ain't what I'm talking about. I think most of you that are watching this video, that bother to watch this video, know exactly what I'm talking about when I mean white affirmation. Not talking about going to a job interview and dressing appropriately. Although black people have done foolish things like that, coming in with dreadlocks and looking like a fool. And then when they get turned down, they get mad and say, that's racist. It's just who I am. Man, stop it. See, once again, you're not being yourself. You're being ignorant when you do that. Wear them dreadlocks outside the business or the place that you're working at. But when you on a job, you got to change that. They have the right to say, we don't want dreadlocks. We don't want that. They have a right. That's their business. They have a right. But anyway, when you start doing things like that, and back into the acting thing, when you start, a black person or anybody for that matter, but black people in particular in America, act that way, you are not being your genuine self. If you need external affirmation from white people, you're not being your genuine self, because you're living your life based on what they say about you. You become dependent on their praise and their lack of praise. And if they don't praise you, if they don't recognize you, then you nobody. You are nobody. Now, I can see if you've done something that is high maintenance, if you will, contributing to the overall benefit of all. Like going back to Black History Month. Black History Month, once again, is recognizing the contributions, whether they're scientific or artistic or whatever, of black people in America from the inception of this country to now. That's essentially what it is, because at the time, many blacks were not being recognized for what they were doing, the good and the benefits that they were contributing to society here in America. They weren't being recognized for it. So part of the purpose of Black History Month was to recognize the value that these black people had contributed to the country. I don't know why that causes people to be angry, but it is what it is. Okay, that's different. That's different. But if I'm not contributing anything necessarily to the betterment of all Americans, I'm not contributing anything to them, and I'm just walking around with an attitude, and then when Black History Month comes up and white people don't affirm me as a black person and somebody that's valuable, then I get upset and I'm mad and I want to punch white people and get mad and delete them and all this kind of other crazy, insane stuff. Then who's the slave? Who's the one with the problem? It's me. It ain't them. It's me. I'm the one with the shackles on my bind, because I need their praise. Then if they don't give it to me, I'm just a wreck. No, I wanted to readdress that situation here in this video. This is part 2. Because it's a shame, man. We in this country, it's a shame. It's getting worse and worse and worse. I am so leery of seeing and hearing on the news more shootings with us. We hate each other so much, man. We can't keep from killing one another. We hate each other so much. Now, I'm not saying that other ethnic groups are not doing it either. I'm not saying that. They are doing it. But we are doing it the most. We have the highest percentage of homicides in the country among all the ethnic groups. We have the highest percentage. Now, that's in terms of comparisons. Now, that's a problem that I think, and maybe not even say think, that's a problem that I know that we as black people in America need to address. We can get out there all day when a young girl gets shot and killed over something stupid, or a young boy gets shot and killed over something stupid, wrapping teddy bears around poles and putting flowers and stuff by poles. That don't mean nothing, man. I'm so sick and tired of seeing that. When are we going to stop doing it? When are our parents going to be parents? When are our fathers going to be fathers? When are our mothers going to be mothers? It's not brain surgery. We as black people in America have some serious issues of self-identity. We really do. And once again, it goes back down to the individual thing. How you break the chains of mental slavery is you become an individual. You're not tied to any political group. You're not tied to any group per se. You just like what you like and don't like what you like. You like to listen to this music and you don't like to listen to this music. You like to eat this and you don't like to eat that. You like to watch this kind of movie and you don't like to watch that kind of movie. It's just you. At the same time, still maintaining your unique black blackness in terms of expression. That's it. You still maintain your unique blackness in terms of the way you express yourself. Because blacks in America, we have a unique way of expressing ourselves. That's a part of our culture, and a part of it goes all the way back to ancient Africa, really, and the way we express ourselves. But on an individual level, what you like and what you dislike is based on an individual thing. Why is that so hard for people to understand? It ain't based on a collective group per se. Unfortunately, the only ipso factor opposite side of that is that it is a problem collectively for us, for Black Americans here on the negative side, unfortunately. Because unfortunately, collectively, we do everything ASS backwards in this country. And then get mad at people like me and other blacks who point this stuff out. I ain't the only one that points it out. I'm not. It's a lot of other ones that point it out. It's embarrassing. And it's going to destroy us. And let me end it this way. If a lot of these blackity black people are also pro-black, that believe that one day they're going to, a white man going to enslave us again, hey, you might be right. We already up here enslaved. You might just be right. Because they're going to get tired of us. And they're going to say, you know what, let's group all these Negroes together, put them in concentration camps, and get rid of them. They only make up 13% of the population anyway. Why we need them? Are we gonna bring let's bring all the illegals in by the millions, right? To replace the 13% Black Americans, and take them Black Americans and put them in concentration camps and let them starve themselves to death. And since all these black people fear that they're gonna enslave us one day, put us back in slavery, they might just. But you want to know the key, the solution to that is, in my opinion, let's start straightening up. Getting our act together. Stop killing one another. Get an education. Get a job and keep the job. Educate ourselves about finances. It can be done. I've heard somebody ask me that some years ago. Well, what do we need to do? How do we need to fix it, man? A lot of this stuff is not as difficult as we think it is. We got libraries all over the place, and nobody takes the time to go to the library, ask the librarian, what do I need to do? What kind of books do you have that on financing? Not economics necessarily, but financing. You can go on Amazon and buy books on financing. I got books on financing, personal financing, budgeting, investments. There are different ways in which we can do this, but a lot of people, unfortunately, don't take the initiative to go out there and do it. And then when someone says you need to take the initiative, they get mad and say, you hating on black people. I'm not hating on black people. I'm just hating on ignorance, willful ignorance, and willful stupidity. That's all I'm hating on. And that's on the individual. It ain't on me. It ain't on anybody else. It's on the individual. That's all I'm saying. So to sum this up, hey, I believe right now in America, a lot of us are still in slavery. And that's why we cannot elevate. Collectively, rather. Individually, some is doing it, but not as much as it needs to be done. Not as much as it needs to be done where we can make our mark here in America. On the technical side and educational side and financial side, we're not making our mark. And I'm not talking about these people like Jay-Z and all that. I mean, proud as I am of them, I'm not talking about them. Because people like Jay-Z and Beyonce and all these other billion-dollar celebrities, the philosophy they push is dependence on the government. And that is the opposite of what black people need in this doggone country. I heard Jay-Z say that. We need to talk about race. He was being interviewed by, I forget that talk show's name. He was being interviewed by him during the Obama administration, I think. Talking about either the Obama administration or Trump's first administration. And he was being interviewed by, I think, Dave Letterman. And Dave Letterman had this huge, thick, gray mustache. Looked like a decrepit Santa Claus. And he's sitting up to myself. He asked me, we need to discuss race. And he's talking about something. Yeah, we do need to discuss race. No, we don't need to discuss race. No, we do not. Let's stop talking about that as black people, and let's start talking about how can we better ourselves economically, technologically, in terms of education, health-wise. How can we better ourselves in these areas? The hell with race. That is what's keeping us divided to begin with. Freak out here with the race stuff. This is the kind of stuff, and this is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about these people like all these celebrities talking about stuff. I'm not talking about, I'm proud of them, but they push an agenda and a worldview that keeps black people attached to the government and keeps them in a slave mindset. I'm talking about as a whole. We will always stay at the bottom in these areas I just mentioned if we don't start doing the things that we need to do economically and improving ourselves economically, financially, in terms of education, all of the things that I just mentioned. We will never rise to the level of the Jews and the whites and the Asians if we don't get our act together collectively. And how we get our act together collectively is on an individual basis. We educate ourselves. Other than that, it ain't going to happen. So that's the end of what I had to say. I had to get that off my chest. People can like it or dislike it. I don't give a flip. It's the truth. And I think most people who have a conscience, who are not being disingenuous and not being dishonest with themselves, know I'm telling the truth 99.9% of the time. I don't hear about all this racism and I'm subjugated and this systemic racism and white supremacy. Man, shut the front door. Shut up. Please. Please. That aggravates me. It aggravates me because there's none evidence so whatsoever. While we're sitting up here, let me sum it up and stop right here. While people are sitting up here, black people and white people sitting up here yipping and yapping about systemic racism and white supremacy, we're still, black people collectively in America is still at the bottom of the heap. So all this awareness of white supremacy and systemic racism still ain't getting me anywhere. It's not. We've been talking about this junk, white supremacy and systemic racism for decades. And how has it helped us collectively? How has it helped us individually? In terms of economics and intellectual processes and health and all the other positive things. How? It don't. It don't, because it's missing the point. We're going around in a revolving circle, man. We're going on a revolving circle and we keep running into the wall. Bam, 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 every single time. We need to grow up. We need to better ourselves in this country, or else it's going to be the end of black Americans, period. We will become a third-rate slave society, both mentally and physically, if we don't straighten up. That's what I had to say about this. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.